Hispanos, Chicanos, Latinos, and Los Estados Unidos. Don't care if you're Ricans or even Cubanos. Look at our coaches. We have more in common, don't let them divide. These suckers are vultures. Either we standing together or better be standing aside. Now is the time, don't know about you, but I'm gonna ride. We gotta climb, fight for your Vegas, man, where was your pride? Where were the gunners that you got inside? Look how our ancestors came to this country. They tried to be living the American dream. Don't throw it away. They promise you money and got your agent for the machine. Pick a new team, you bless socialism, but that is a system that you wanna bring. You need to think, we gotta fight communism, cause it look like we on the brink. Connect all the links, so one party system is taking the power from all of the people. We need to think, when will you listen? These people are evil and want you to sequel, so what is your plan? Hand in hand, we're standing together, cause it's the one never to do what you can. Please understand, we gotta do better, so walkers remember that we took a stand. Escúchame, 24 es el año, si se puede. Lucha, lucha por la libertad. Órale, vamos.
Yo, everybody, what's up? Welcome back to Latino Free Minds, episode 81. Here today with we call it the fighter series. So when we bring someone that's doing some stuff out there that, you know, basically you're fighting, right? Whether it's for your state, your city, your country, you're doing your part to try to make a difference. So we have Carina Powers. She is the, let me see if I get this right, chairwoman of the California chapter, California RNHA. Did I get that right?
Definitely.
Okay, cool. How you doing, Carina?
I'm doing good. I'm invigorated. We just got back from an event. As you can tell, I'm in a car, and I've been doing a lot of, stuff on the road. And so today I got to do some amazing work and partnership. So we're excited, and I can't wait to people know. And you guys will be first to know because I haven't even posted about it yet. Instagram is shutting down my life.
Are they? They're not they're censoring you?
Completely.
Damn. Well, that's how it is, right? That's what I say. Like if you're saying something right, or doing something right, that's when they usually come after you.
Exactly. That happens.
Yeah. So tell the people a little bit about yourself and the RNHA and stuff like that, just so people can learn about that.
Sure. For those of you that don't know, I'm Carina Powers. Originally, I founded Latinos for Medical Freedom. That's where I got my start, was with the medical freedom activism. We fought against SB 276 and SB 277, and there were several issues and stuff. And when we were fighting against the SB 276, which is the medical infringement over the children, that they were removed, they were segregated from their rights here in California for attending public or private school. So my children were affected by that. So therefore, they cannot no longer attend public or private school for that matter. So we were forced into homeschooling, and this is this is pre-pandemic.
Oh, wow.
And so going to Sacramento because of medical freedom, I, firsthand witnessed that we have to have a seat in Sacramento in order for us to have our voices heard. And so I learned politics in that sense by being active and showing up and seeing what's happening in Sacramento and working with legislators and getting to know how everything's happening, over there, and how I can be involved on a local level. And so that's when I started my journey as chaptering in my local area for Monterey County. I started a chapter for the RNHA, which is the Republican National Hispanic Assembly. And at that time, it was under Anthony Cavazza. And eventually, that was back in 2019, and fast forward to now for, me being the state chairwoman and really mobilizing for the state. For me, as the chairwoman for the Republican National Hispanic, it's really important to get mobilization within your local districts, because we saw and we all witnessed within the pandemic and everything that happened during that time, how our local government were dictators per se, and they didn't know what to do. And this is why it's important. It's our due diligence as citizens to really be informed and really understand our due process as far as when it comes to, representing and advocating for ourselves. And so that's when That's what I'm trying to do with the Republican National Hispanic Assembly. Now we have over 15 chapters throughout the entire state. A lot of the chapters were Southern California. I'm in Central California in Monterey County. So my goal is to move it forward and move it on up as far as Northern California and really truly represent for the Hispanic community. I am fluent. I speak very well Spanish. My first language was Spanish. I didn't speak English till I was like in the fourth grade. I grew up in labor camps. I grew up working the fields. I worked in the fields until I was 17 here. And when you drive by the 101 from Greenfield all the way to Watsonville, if you pass by any of those fields, I possibly worked in some of those. So that was the culture that I was raised, and I feel like our people have been really truly been represented. And so what I do is I like to go to local communities and really build them up. And how we
Mhm.
build them up is empowering them with the information on how they can be active within their local, legislation. I know it's
Mhm.
a mouthful. I said a lot.
No. It's good. I mean, that's we usually ask people like, when did you kind of get real activated and all that, but and a lot of people say, during COVID, obviously with everything that was going on, just like you described, that they were being dictators, they were pushing things that a lot of people didn't agree with, and they weren't really giving people the say right in it. It was just
Right.
like, this is what we're gonna do, and like you said, they didn't know what they were doing, but they was just like, here, this is what we're gonna do, and everybody else has to do it. Um, but you said you kind of, that was pre-COVID that you kind of started fighting for that medical
Yes.
freedom. Um, but yeah, COVID was when you know I guess I would say I I didn't pay that much attention to you know all that stuff before, and then yeah, COVID was a real eye opener for other things. I would
Right.
I would pay attention politically, so to speak, but not pharma and all that other stuff. When COVID came through, that's when I kind of was just like, all right, none of this makes sense. But no, to one of the points you made is how we've been interviewing candidates and all that stuff too. um,
Yeah.
we do get a lot from SoCal, which is good to see, right? Because it's a big area, and there's a lot of good active people down there. And sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm trying to find people, even in my area where I'm at, or up north further. It kind of, they're, I don't know if they're a little more quiet or not as loud, or they drowned it out, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's
it's
not a
hard to
cluster.
find them.
Yeah, it's not a cluster like in Southern California. LA. I mean, LA. Everything's like you just drive a few minutes and you're already in a different county. Over here, it's like we have a lot of rural country, and so
Hmm.
it takes quite a bit to get to another location. So it's harder. It's a lot more land, and so but we're doing it and we're making it happen. There's a lot of people, and we need to get a lot of people active. But it's nice. It's nice that you're able to interview all the candidates. That's how we are able to learn from the different candidates that are in different regions,
Hmm.
and we can support them from wherever we're at. If we see someone that we like, and we can, do whatever we can, and it's a nice platform for them to have here with you guys.
Yeah, because like I said, it's like we can't always. It's hard. I don't know. It's hard to find the ones here, or even if you find them, you try to get a hold of them, you don't really hear back. So it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna help where I can help, right? I'm
Right.
if I gotta help Denise in Stockton or Nick Wilson down in SoCal, and it's like, well, I'm gonna help whoever I need to help, because at the end of the day, even though they're not in my district, if we can flip seats in the California State Assembly, hey, it helps me out regardless if I'm there or not. Um,
Yeah.
so you were just at the event for Peter, huh? Shout out to Peter.
Yeah. So,
What
going
was
back
that? What was that?
in San Jose, we were in the city hall in San Jose.
Hmm.
So what happened is there's the Muwekma Ohlone tribe that is, was federated, but somehow the paperwork got lost within the city, and so they're trying to get that federation recognized again. But unfortunately for them, they're asking them to go through the entire process all over again when they're already federally recognized. And this is huge. It's huge because they have to go through the entire process. They have to get back in line, and start all over again. And the reason why we showed up is because I don't know if you know, Charlene Nishme was also running for the same seat that Peter
Okay.
Hernandez was running for, which is District 18, Congressional District 18. She didn't make it, and their contender was Zoe Lofgren. And I know that this tribe had been working closely with Zoe Lofgren, and unfortunately for her, and fortunately for us, it panned out that that Zoe Lofgren was trying to stop them from getting federally recognized here within their local city
Mm,
council and passing a solution. And so they Charlene has been meeting with Peter Hernandez, and Peter Hernandez has like a deep rooted understanding of the Ohlone culture and understanding of of really knowing how to merge within that community. And so today they officially endorsed Peter Hernandez. A
nice.
Democrat endorsed a Republican today in the city of San Jose. And this is monumental. It's a pivotal moment for the entire, you know, district for Peter, because it's going to, showcase us on a different angle. I went and I spoke, on behalf of the RNHA of California, and they were so grateful of our representation there. There was a lot of Republicans, and like they said, this shouldn't be a Democrat or, Republican or independent, whatever party, is
Hmm.
represented, be a human issue because we have to recognize that the Native Americans were here long before we were, and the fact that they're not being federally recognized is an issue.
Yeah. So no, that's good. What reason did she have a reason for not wanting to help them with that? That she was making it harder for them. Yeah.
Well, because she's involved with the gaming tribes also, so there's probably some affiliations there that she doesn't want to cross bridges with, and so she
Mm,
probably
trying to keep other
abstained.
people happy.
Right, right.
Mm, okay. Well,
Yeah.
no. Well, it's good to hear Peter got that endorsement. You know, yeah, right there, City Hall, right? It's by 7th Street now, I think.
Yes.
Um,
It's
so yeah,
by 7.
yeah. No, that's where I grew up around that area. There used to be Albertsons there. There's I think there's still a elementary school somewhere around there, Horseman or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's where we grew up, and it's every time I go back, or because I still have family that lives over there. Um, I it looks worse, bad every time I go. It just looks worse. Um,
Hmm.
and it's the representation they have there isn't doing anything for them. The mayor himself, I mean, he looks like a you
I,
know soft,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
it just the city's gotten it's a beautiful city, right? But it's like it seems like no one's taking care of it. Um, so every time I go back, it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, I can't wait to go back home. You know,
I know.
uh, but it can hopefully people are starting, and that's the hope in general with everything, right? People are starting to notice it, starting to kind of you know in a sense know that their vote matters and their representation matters. So that's either school board, that's your mayor, city council, all that stuff, right? um we're kind of optimistic here. We think a lot of people are gonna make a different choice this time around. um you dealing with the entire state, with the organization, is what kind of vibe are you feeling throughout the state?
I know that a lot of people that they've been watching the media, and it's something that we tell people like, don't listen to the media, like please. That's like a somber feeling because they're the ones putting the misinformation out there. Because when I'm going out there, people are coming to me and telling me, hey, I just registered. My whole family just registered Republican. Hey, I'm running. Like people that would have never ran for a seat are running for seats.
Hmm.
And the fact that that's happening is like showing I've registered Republican and I'm running for this seat,
Hmm.
and that's when it's happening. I feel like when you're going out there and seeing it firsthand, you're seeing a whole different story than what the narrative is playing on the media. So people need to stop listening to the media and being more active within their communities, engaging their families, and letting them know, hey, we're not okay with this. Look at these candidates that are supporting these issues. We need to stray away from these people, even though they look like us.
Mm-hmm.
We need to look at what values they truly represent for our families, because they're not representing our families at this moment.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely there's a lot of representing the party instead of the people
Right.
going on,
Right.
and I think people have to, wake up to that part of it. Um, so you know, a point you said, and then it kind of goes into the all the people that we've interviewed is it's kind of like, yeah, nobody else was running, so I had to get in the race, and it's true that that's one thing that is true throughout the state. It's not people that are politicians that are getting in these races, right? It's just people that are frustrated or upset or see that the state, like I said, is just seems like it's getting worse and worse, right?
Right.
The quality of life, taxes, all that stuff. It's so expensive here in California as it is. So it's good to see all those people stepping up and
Mhm.
running and trying to make a difference, right? Um, and so for yourself, as far as being the chairwoman, like what how can people get involved in the organization?
Well, they definitely can reach out to our organization. They can go to the rnhaca.org. We've started from scratch. We had to build a website. I'm very trying to make it a very interactive website. They can either join in. We have a volunteer, tab that they can click. And we'll reach out to you within the next 48 hours to get you committed to where, showing you where we can get you started as far as within your region. We're trying to build, we have ambassadors that are trying to, build chapters, and then we're walking you through the entire process as far as how you can be engaged and what are things that you can do within your local region. One of my biggest things is going out there and really getting to know your neighbors, and getting to know them on a personal level. And for me, like, my first thing is create a neighborhood watch, because a lot of people don't know their neighbors. And when there's something happening, you have a thread that you can message through and really build that impact and really discuss. This should be a moment for dialogue and a moment for dialoguing different issues that are happening and pointing these out. And eventually these people will, either register to vote because they start seeing, hey, I need to be more active. They start learning the process. And so when we start creating ambassadors, those are one of the, focal points that we want to, push, is really the education, factor. It's really informing the community, because when you have an informed individual, they can show up empowered to their, city council meetings, to their supervisors, or to their school board meetings. And so when that happens, you know, it's amazing to see that they're showing up and they're really transcending throughout the entire state.
Cool. No, that's really good. That's really good. Um, and something that we're trying to focus on here is I'm trying to do a little bit more Spanish stuff. um, because I feel that there's a lot of Latinos, Hispanic people that, they only speak Spanish, right? Um, a lot of parents just speak Spanish. They never really learned English. They might know a little broken English here or there, but their main deal is Spanish. And they'll watch Univision or Telemundo or whatever. That's what they understand. Um, and then if you pay attention to those channels, then obviously you see their sway to the left a little more. Um,
Hmm.
so we're trying to focus on doing a little more Spanish content. That way, we can hopefully get other people to hear, the message that we're trying to put out there, or and not just us, like other people, right? Um, so is there like, do you guys have like Spanish stuff too, or is it kind of just how's that?
We do have Spanish flyers. We have everything all the documents that we have are translated both English and Spanish. We do have a membership lounge where they can download a lot of the information, and we have everything in Spanish. We are working on a Spanish podcast.
Cool.
because it's very much needed. When we go out to the community, a lot of people, even though they speak a little broken English or whatsoever, they just feel more comfortable speaking in their own language.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the future that's coming up, this is first you guys hear it. We're going to be in the radio waves. We're going to have a
Nice.
conservative show. It's based out of Santa Cruz, and it's going to be strictly in Spanish, because that's where it needs to be going out. As we all know, the radio, especially the radio waves is being taken over by, who. I don't want to say the
Mm-hmm.
name,
Mm-hmm.
but it's important that we start getting out that message, because you know what? The other side is out there, and they're showing up to their events. They're showing up to on their TV. They're showing up on their YouTubes and everything. And our
Mm-hmm.
people are, culturally transcend to YouTube. And so we need to be putting a lot more information in Spanish for them on YouTube or TikTok. Those are the some of the platforms that are, Hispanic people or Spanish speaking people tend to use.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, and that's a good point. It's like you want to be where the people are, right? Where you're gonna get somebody's ear, somebody's attention, and yeah, like Watsonville, Salinas, all that area. It's a lot of Spanish speaking, Latinos,
Yes,
and like you said, they have the fields out there. Right now there's a lot of construction going on. In Hollister and in Marina. Marina looks
Marina's
different.
growing. Yeah,
Yeah,
like the next big that's coming in our area. They
yeah,
have
and it's
everything.
right next to the beach and everything. So, it definitely looks different than 5 years ago, or even 10 years ago. It's a whole different little, it's
Yeah,
big city now kind of thing.
our Fort Ord military, and now everything's cleared up, and now it's like they're high rises and
Mm-hmm.
beach homes, shopping malls, and everything. So it's really grown. It's still growing. There's projected to build out more. The same goes for Salinas. They're building straight up to the hills, and that's another city that's growing as well. And the majority of those towns are, a lot of them are, Spanish speakers.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, there's a lot of people that work in the service industry, as far as like, the hotel industry and, the hospitality industry. So, and a lot of those people are who are our people, Salvadoreños, Hondureños, Mexicanos, Venezolanos. We have a lot of that in that area.
Yeah. No, and that's why too. It's like California is like people talk bad about it. We're kind of the state's kind of a laughing stock, if you will. uh, there's jokes about California all the time, but it is a beautiful state, and it's worth saving, right? It's like we can't just let it go, right? It's for some people it's not easy to just get up and move, right?
Right.
For others it is, but it's like even if it was easy to just get up and move, it's like I don't want to. Like, why should I have to? You know what I mean? Why should I have to leave? Why should I have to give it up? So
Exactly.
that's a whole nother motivation in trying to be more involved, in trying to help people, you know, get elected, and people that are running. It's because no matter what, it's like we can't just give up on it. You know what I mean? So, I think when we were talking to Nick Wilson, he was saying that I think they need to flip 9 assembly
Yeah.
seats just to kind of to stop that majority. So,
Mhm.
if it's only 9, if that's the goal, it's like it's for me. If like that's doable, you know what I mean? How do you feel about that? And do you see that it could happen?
Oh, I can totally see this happening. I started doing my activism since 2015 and being politically involved since. Since that time, COVID was a blessing in disguise because, like you said, it opened up so many people's eyes. And then, here we are at this point in time where more people are, more awake. More people are claiming to be Republican and being patriots. But now it's time that we just don't say it, but we go out there and we
Hmm.
find a candidate and we support those candidates that are running, that are going to be funding for our future. We got to make those calls. We got to show up. Give up one Saturday a month. Show up and do some door knocking for them. You can go to your local, Monterey County. Like in our county, we have Monterey County GOP office, or we have different organizations within your area, and we talk to them and tell, hey, I'm available to volunteer. Like, this is how I can help. or you can reach out to the RNHA California, and we have different different areas where you can probably help out. You can either come out and go door knocking, you can either make phone calls, or you can show up and just do some research. Some people are good at social media. I don't have the time. I wish I can post
Hmm.
every I don't have the time. I am a homeschooling mom, and all this time. So we need all hands on deck as far as people showing up to volunteer. I know that that's one of the things that we're a little bit deficient in, and the more people we have, the more these names are going to get out there and really resonate within the community, so that when they get out there to vote, they vote for the people that are going to be fighting for our freedoms.
Hmm. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And I was gonna ask you um, to kind of change the subject because I know we were talking about like California and all that, but
Yeah.
let's go to the big one. Let's go to uh, the president race. Well, what are your thoughts on, because Kamala was in California, she was in San Francisco, and then she was the DA and then a senator. Um,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on the race, Trump versus Kamala?
Como Californianos, I think we're very well aware of Kamala's, trajectory as far as what she's done here in California, and we know that she was no good. And I think that's an important as Californians to really share that message across the board, and people really understand that she's a huge shame for California. Look at how much she's destroyed. I don't even think that we're no longer, fourth thriving nation. I mean, California, as far as fiduciary and financially, we're no longer there, I think, because of all the stuff, all the debt that they've created with the homelessness, with all the incarcerations, with everything that's happening. And I honestly think that right now, during her campaign and her race, I think she's going through that honeymoon stage where, people are just excited to see something new. Ya se les acabó el juguete, ya they're it. So now they're like, okay, now I'm looking at now let's see the reality. Let's see
Mm-hmm.
what's really in her, what she's done for the state and what she can do for us, and what she has done for the nation, which she's done nothing. And so I think people are going to start seeing that, and that's where her campaign is going to really fracture in that area. And that's where we need to be really pushing, the policies that, Donald Trump stands for, and the different issues that are affecting the Hispanic communities, because we are that pivotal, you know, key to making that change in this election. And
Mm-hmm.
we really be making those conversations of discussing the policies that are affecting our kids and our families.
Yeah. No, and you're right. It's like, because yeah, it's been what, almost a month, almost, I think,
Yeah.
since she kind of they unofficially
Amen.
made it official since the
Amen.
coup against Biden. And yeah, I was checking I checked Trump's website, I checked her website, right? And Trump has his Agenda 47. He has his, I believe he has the 20 promises that he's making, for when he becomes president. So then you go to Kamala's page, and there's no plan. And nothing was more evident than when she announced that she was going to do the no tax on tips, which is,
Right.
Trump was running on that. So I think you're right. I think they're excited right now because it's not Biden. um
Right.
because at the end of the day, there's so many things in that. It's like they have to admit that they knew Biden wasn't healthy from the get.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people, looking at reality, they knew that Biden wasn't healthy. There was something wrong. Um, and that's something that they downplayed the entire presidency, right? And now all of a sudden, it's kind of like an issue, but it's like, oh, it's been like that from the beginning. And then the other thing that I think, and maybe it's something that you can probably describe in Spanish too, is the Democrat Party was the ones that are constantly saying Trump is a threat to our democracy.
Right.
That's like the main thing that they said. And and then they go and do that to Biden. And not just to
Ex-
Biden, it's I believe it was 14 to 15 million people that ended up voting for him to basically, make him their candidate. So they did that to Biden. They did that to the voters. all while yelling threat to democracy.
Mhm.
And the thing that to me is like, you know, why aren't more Democrats upset that that's what happened or that's how it went down? Do you know what I mean?
Right. And it's unfortunately because, people don't see that she was in office right along with him and never said a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Never said this man is not competent to run the country, or to fend us from, outside, danger or whatsoever. And she's been strung along, and now she thinks like, she should have a plan. She's been in it already, and she should have a plan already for say, for the everything, for the entire nation on every angle and every aspect, because she has a front seat, a co-pilot front seat, and she's aware of the issues and she knows what they are. So she should be having a plan. And so, yeah, like you said, it's unfortunate that she doesn't have anything, and people need to start looking at that, looking at the
Mm-hmm.
differences of the different candidates that are running. And Donald Trump has a plan, and she's got no plan despite being a co-pilot with no agenda, no plan, no nothing. And that's
Nothing.
just flying in that plane. That is pretty scary. And people need to understand she's a detriment to the Hispanic community and to any other community, any American in the United
Mm-hmm.
States per se.
Yeah. No, because you said you made a valid point. I know these past 3.5 years, there's been plenty of times where I'm like, where's Kamala?
Exactly.
Where's she doing? Where's she been?
She's been in the hiding,
Right?
taking it
Yeah.
back now.
She's been prepping for this moment for 3.5 years, it seems. Um, but you know, nobody liked her, right? She tried to run for president and she
Mm,
got zero support. So that's the other thing that, kind of demonstrates the whole how people have the mentality of just sticking with their party no matter what, right? It's like she got no support when she was
no,
running on her own, right? Um, so to me, it's like I don't see how Kamala wins the election based off of the reality I've seen is nobody really likes her.
mm,
Um, and Trump, I feel, has even more support than he did in 2020.
right.
So, you know, can you tell me Kamala's gonna get more than 81 million votes? I don't think so.
Period of time. How much time do we have left? I just looked up the other day. It was like 83 days left
Mm-hmm.
to do up. It was 83 days left until election. And
Mm-hmm.
so during this time, I don't think, you can dump all the money you want. But when people start looking at the reality of everything and saying, hey, this is no good. This is no good for our country. This is no good for our families. What has she done for our country at this moment? Nothing. This woman has done absolutely nothing. And if we're going to be running on emotions or on her skin color, or what she thinks she is at this moment, that's not going to get us anywhere. That's not going to get us an economy that's,
Mm-hmm.
fruitful for the entire nation. It's not. And so that's where we need to start looking at. And I think that as Hispanic Americans, we need to be very well conscious and aware of who we're voting for and why are we voting for them. If you can't have a policy that can back her up and say, oh, this is the policy why I'm backing her up, then if you can't have one, I don't understand why these people are, dumping their money or voting for this individual.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah. And to this point, she has no written policy, so there is no way for anybody. It doesn't matter how
Not,
Democrat you are, you have no idea what you're supporting. Um, and that's just being real, right? That's what it is. And yeah, they're using the whole angle about, you know, she's black, she's whatever whatever she is now, right? Um, they're just going off of emotions, exactly what you said. And something that I said before, but I say it in Spanish is si controlan tus emociones, controlan tus decisiones. So
Exactamente.
they don't want people to be informed. Just like you said earlier, they don't want people to go to the booth and vote, and be informed and be like, you know what? No, Kamala, she didn't do this, this, and this. She's been in office for this long. I don't think so, right? They don't want people to vote that way. They want people to just show up, maybe see the D next to the name for Democrat, and then they just vote for that. Or they look for the name that looks familiar, right? I'm Latino. This name sounds Latino. This person might be, might be a good one, and you're just voting that way, and then they use the media, and that's why I was talking about the Spanish media. Is they use that media to manipulate the Latinos into thinking, that this person or that person, or if you're, let's just say, Republican, they're
Mhm.
the bad guys. They said this about Mexicans. They said this about Latinos. They said this and that. And, they make the Democrats appear as though they're the party for the people, because it's like, yeah, they want everybody to come in. So, they just want people to be emotional
Right.
and vote based off of that emotion. And, Latinos are prideful people. They, they love their heritage and all that. So once you offend that, you know, just being honest, is Latinos will just like with the whole Trump thing in 2015 and how he came down, and you had Jorge Ramos getting kicked out of press conferences, just making a
Mhm.
scene. That's to rile up emotion. So I think that's why when I had brought up about the Spanish content and how that's important, is because things like that, I feel like I don't feel like they'll work as much this time around. Um, but they're still gonna do it. So
Right.
I don't know what you think. Do you think that like, because I don't watch Univision or anything. You probably don't either. I don't know. I don't, maybe.
You know what? I watch Yon, I watch Telemundo, I watch The View because
Okay.
I want to freaking out. They're always talking about us. They're always bringing us up, and we have to understand the other side and where they're
Mm-hmm.
coming from, how they're targeting our people. And so that's why I watch those shows, only to be, informed of how do we reach these individuals. And I
Mm-hmm.
see the lies. And
Yeah.
so when
Yeah.
I come out, I tell them like, well, that was a lie because of this and this and that. And I tell people like, we're smarter than that. Since when have we been okay with government dictating our everyday life? As Latinos, we don't like government telling us how to live our life. So
Mm-mm.
why are you okay with them telling you how to, school your children, how to behave with your children, how to spend your money? They're the ones dictating. And I remember back in the day, I used to tell people, you see this dollar, like we give 40% to the government. Well, now we're giving like 70% to the government. How sad is that? And I
Yeah.
tell the people, you know why it's happened? Because you say nothing. Because you stay silent. Because you choose not to go to your city council meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Because you choose not to go to school board. And because you voted on propositions that you're probably still paying for and they're probably overdue already. And that's because you choose not to be informed. And when you tell them that, it really lights up a light switch in their head. Like, shoot, I need to be more involved. I need to learn a little bit more. And I think that's where it's our duty that on the leadership that we have in the Hispanic leadership that we have in California to really teach our people and guide them through
Mm-hmm.
the process because
Mm-hmm.
no
Yeah.
one else is out and showing them the actual process of what it takes to be an informed voter. And
Mm-hmm.
the other side is just coming, presenting them with everything with a big red bow, and then you open it and it's empty box, and
Mm-hmm.
we show them like, hey, no, I don't put up with that anymore. I'm gonna show up to my city council meeting. I'm gonna say no. I don't want this happening anymore. I want to hold you accountable for what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. As you as you were saying that, I kind of got a little idea in my head. Um, I'll probably the idea is make videos in Spanish about the props and say, okay, this is what it's called, but this is what it is. Because a lot of things too, we
Mhm.
talk about it all the time. They'll call a bill a certain thing that sounds so nice that when you read it, you go, oh,
Right.
that sounds good. I'll vote for that. That sounds like a yes. But when it's like the reality of it, it's like a fake title just to get the yes or whatever it is. So I don't know. As you were saying that, I kind of thought like maybe I should do some Spanish videos like that.
We should do that. That would be great if we can have like. There's a lot of propositions, and I think that our people need to understand when they're passing propositions, they're pretty much setting our future, our children, for a debt,
Hmm.
basically. They're going to be indebted for a long time, where they're going to be paying for something. Even though it seems like a nominal amount, but it's going to be over the years, and it's something that's never even we never get to see it. Our children never get to see it. Maybe even our grandchildren wouldn't get to see it. So
Mm-hmm.
it comes to that logistic that we need to teach people about the different propositions, about the different bills that are being put out, and who's putting those bills out, so that they understand. Oh, look, I voted for this person, and they're pushing these bills, or they're
Mm-hmm.
oppositions, or these resolutions are going through, and they're not voting for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think that would be so beneficial. That if you guys can do, something in Spanish, even if they're just like small little clips and reels, because people's attention span is like a little shorter.
Yeah.
Rápido y barato.
No, straight to the point, right? No, I I think what we want to do too is as it gets closer to the election, you know how they send you the booklet that says, all right, this is everything that's on the ballot, this is all the candidates. Going through those and probably do an episode where we're just going through that book and seeing what we find in there or whatnot that doesn't make sense, right? Because there's a lot of times people, it's good they send you the books, but I don't really think a lot of people actually
Go
go
through
through
them.
them.
Right.
So and then that's us as the people, that's our fault, right? Because either
Mm-hmm.
we don't take it seriously, we don't take the time to do that. We give other things that are insignificant priority, and again, when it comes to stuff that matters and then you go vote, you don't know what you're voting on, so you're relying on your party, you're relying on a familiar name, or you're just reading it there and you're like, again, this sounds nice, so I'm gonna vote. So we definitely have to do everything we can to get people away from that. And I think here in California, I think that more people are starting to pay attention, because I think you can't it's hard to ignore it now, right? Because it's everywhere. So like, you see homelessness everywhere, you see crime everywhere. Cities are deteriorating. So it's hard to just maybe before you could ignore it, right? Maybe
Right.
there was a couple of homeless people there and then you thought, all right, it's just a few, it's just a couple. Now you drive by and it's a whole campsite, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's hard to ignore because it's just getting closer and closer to home, so to speak. Um, so I think as much as people want to make California like the joke, so to speak, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's like, yeah, it's gotten so bad where I think it's going to correct itself.
Right.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, we can't be the joke. You know why? Because there was a exodus, which is when people left California, they left to different states. They went to Texas, Tennessee, Idaho, whatever, you know. And we got to start thinking of who was left behind. And who was left behind? Our people. Nuestra raza was left behind. One, because we don't have the means to move. We don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much for our families to move to a different state. A lot of the business owners stay behind, and they're barely making it. So we can't be the people can't be looking at us as a laughing stock. They should be looking at us like, hey, let's go support California, because whatever happens in California will come down this way, and we've seen it come their direction. And if we want to embrace that Hispanic vote, California, we are the majority
Mm-hmm.
minority in California, and people must not ever forget that every 30 seconds a Latino, a Hispanic is turning into a voter, an 18-year-old voter,
Wow.
every 30 seconds. And the majority come from the state of California. Because
Mm.
what are we? The families, we're producing every day. We're the ones with the biggest families. I have 5 kids myself, and most Hispanics do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's an education for the rest of the nation to really understand what California is about, and that we're in the front lines and we're facing this. We're living through a lot of this that they have not even seen. A lot of them have not suffered through the segregation of children not being able to go to school or even private school. And so
Mm.
we're facing a lot of those issues on a daily basis where they're not. And instead of sitting there and laughing, they should come over here and support us in every way that they can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have
No,
the
I mean, yeah, a lot of people did a lot of people that, had the ability to stay and fight left. That's for sure.
Exactly.
So I like to think the real fighter stayed.
Exactly. So we
So,
work, putting in whatever we can, contributing to the big pot here in California, and keeping the wheels turning. And
mhm,
and it can't be we're no laughing stock. We're actually the victorious ones for staying here because we're making changes. And we're going out there and we're door knocking and we're changing people's. I call it we're flipping the tortilla in California. I don't know what they're doing over there, but we're flipping tortillas over here, one tortilla at a time before they start burning.
that's a good way to put it. Um,
Y no se va a
so
quemar ya.
I know, right? So antes de terminar, ¿qué mensaje le tendrías a la gente de California que a lo mejor no sabe cómo votar o si van a creer que Trump es un hombre malo o si van a creer que Kamala tiene las respuestas de todo esto? ¿Qué mensaje le tienes para ellos?
Que de cuando acá se dejan creer de lo que dice la televisión, lo que le dice el noticiero. Nosotros somos personas de que nos investigamos y siempre buscamos y luchamos por la verdad. Y vamos a dejar que la noticia les dé la información que es adecuada para nuestras familias. Es ahora el momento que tenemos que activarnos para luchar por nuestros hijos, por nuestros nietos, sobrinos o lo que sea. Y es el momento de tener esos diálogos en la casa y hablar con sus familias de lo que está sucediendo alrededor. Porque el momento que pisamos para afuera, enfrentamos estas cosas del día con día. Y es importante de que nos informemos y que nos activemos como ciudadanos americanos. Es muy importante, ciudadano o no ciudadano. Tenemos que ver la realidad de que está confrontando nuestra raza, cómo nos afecta del día con día,
Ujú,
de que no estamos progresando como debemos estar, no tenemos el asiento donde debemos tener porque nos mantenemos en silencio. Y la hora es ya.
ujú. No, sí. Bien, bien dicho. Y algo que normalmente lo dijimos en inglés, pero ahorita lo digo en español, les decimos a la gente que vote en su realidad. So, lo
Sí,
que tus ojos miran, lo que tú estás mirando con tus propios ojos, no te están mintiendo. Si la calidad de tu vida está peor, si los biles están más caros, la comida está más cara, algo cambió. Y, si uno se pone a pensar, pues la cosa más grande que cambió, pues el presidente. Porque si
sí.
también otro se pone a pensar también es cuando Trump estuvo de presidente, la economía estaba bien. Si queremos ser honestos, estaba bien.
Y
Desde
Dani,
que...
que casi yo no he escuchado que nadie hable. El primer día que entró Biden en la oficina,
Ujú,
él remató contra nosotros, los hispanos, porque él cerró todo lo que es los fossil fuels. Fue lo primero que hizo cuando entró a oficina. Y eso es las industrias, afecta a las industrias que estamos nosotros como comunidad hispana
ujú.
involucrados, que viene siendo la construcción, la infraestructura, pues lo que viene siendo la construcción de la calle, la, la, las, ¿cómo se
Todos
dice?
nuestros trabajos.
Todos los trabajos que hacemos nosotros,
Ujú,
la comunidad habla hispana, no nomás latina, yo estoy hablando de habla hispana, fue los más afectados el primer día que entró Biden. ¿Y cómo vamos a permitir que ahora que la Kemala continúe con la misma remacha que él puso contra
ujú,
nuestra propia gente?
ujú.
Tenemos que ser más trucha, mi gente, y no dejarse llevar por las emociones y votar con la realidad, como dice aquí mi compatriota de Dani, que es ahora de que empecemos.
Y sí. Cool. Well, Karina, thank you for coming on the show. Keep doing what you're doing. I know you're involved in a lot of things, and you know, if ever you need anything from us, let us know. We're here. But the elections here locally and for the nation is very important, and we're just trying to get as many people as possible to just show up and vote. We don't want anybody to give up or feel like it's pointless. It's like, no, if you don't go, you know,
Mm.
how are you ever gonna know? So just show up and vote.
Exactly. Well, it's a pleasure and it's always an honor to talk with you, Danny. What you guys are
Thank you.
doing is amazing. I'll be sharing whenever I can to share your information, especially with candidates that you guys are interviewing. Keep doing what you guys are doing. This is amazing. We need to get the word out there, and I'm so glad that you're, visioning yourself and doing more stuff in Spanish and getting that stuff out there to our communities, because that's the only way we're gonna make this happen.
Hmm.
And we got to look at the side. What are we doing to make things better? And so I'm here to support you in any way I can.
Thank you.
And I hope to come back and maybe chat some more about other issues or whatsoever, and other ways that we can support, most definitely.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. We'll be here. We're not. We've said it many times. We're not going anywhere. Cool. Well, thank you again for coming on, and hope everybody enjoyed it. Thank you, and like we always say, peace be with you.
Hasta luego, bendiciones.